are listening to The Michael Lodge Show. Wealth, business, and taxes. Oh yeah, and some politics. Let's get started.
Good morning. It's Mike Lodge. Glad you've joined me. Today's going to be a good day. Today we have a lot of room for possibilities. You and I, we're going to accomplish a lot. I know we are. I feel it in my bones. I guarantee it. I always like our day of possibilities because I know that I can get things done that I need to get done. You know, sometimes you wake up and you feel like, gosh, I just don't want to do anything. And then other days, like today, I get up and I'm telling myself, gosh, I've got a lot to do today. I have got to get up and get it done, and I've got to get going. And you have that kind of energy, right? You feel good, you're positive, you feel like you can do anything that the world throws at you, take on anything that the world throws at you. But at the same time, we have some things that you and I need to discuss. And it's important that we discuss it. We have gone through this election. And you and I feel that there's some nasty things going on. Now, the mainstream media, they're not going to tell you about any of this because they don't want to admit that there is something bad going on, because they have already pushed their political agenda, their political person that they wanted to elect. So they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to dig. They're not going to report. They're not going to do respectful journalism to tell you that, yeah, things are going on. And we see it. We see it every single day. We see voter fraud going on in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Nevada, and Arizona, in Arizona, and there's other states too, Michigan, and other. It's probably going on. If you really want to know about it, it's probably going on in every single state. Every single state that we hear about it's going on. Voter fraud has been going on for a long time, but no one has ever cleaned it up. And so what happened with this election is frightening, because what happened is that Nancy Pelosi started to promote this voter by mail. That means that these ballots were going out to everybody, dead, alive, child, moved out of the state, and the list goes on. And that opens it up for fraud. There are some individuals who are getting their own ballot in the mail, who got their own ballot in the mail, but they got 5 other people that used to live at that address ballots too. Do you know how fraudulent that could be if that individual was not ethical and decided to fill out, okay, I'm going to fill out all these, and I'm going to name them all Joe Biden or all Donald Trump. You see, this mail-in vote fraud is a very real thing. And the reason why it was designed that way by Nancy Pelosi, and she's made some very unethical statements, but she wanted chaos in this election. Because you see, with chaos, they can do anything. They can mix it up. They can move stuff in. They can just completely confuse the issues that it disguises a win. And that's what they wanted. And that was her whole design. Nancy Pelosi is evil down to the bone because it's all politics about her. It's not about ethics at all. The ethics is out the door. She promoted a lie about President Trump on the Russia collusion. Then we find out through a whole bunch of sources that that was a complete lie. She lost. She promoted she promoted a lie. And that's what she did with this election. She promoted a lie to us, saying to us and all of Americans, and all the Americans fell for it, that mail-in ballots would not create any voter fraud. And here we see it going rampant. Let's face it, people. Listen, politics is a dirty business. It's an evil business. It's individuals who will do anything to win. They will do anything. They will create any kind of a scheme that will place them at the number one spot. And that's what Nancy Pelosi wanted. She wanted to stir the waters. She wanted to confuse the issues. She muddied the waters. The old Chinese saying goes, and I've said it before on here, she muddied the waters so that you little fishies couldn't see what was really going on. You couldn't see. But here we have it. Here we have it today. Let's be very clear at this very moment. We do not have a presidential winner. It's not Trump and it is not Biden. And the reason why is because we have fraud going on in several different states. And when there's fraud, there cannot be unity. So let me tell you, fraud and unity, they don't mix. There can be no unity of this nation when people see that there is fraud going on in our government. You see, America has stood by for so long and just let things go without even looking at it. Oh yeah, we heard there was some fraud. Yeah. And that's as far as we go in our comments. We don't really dig. The media hasn't dug. They haven't done their journalist job to really discover what is going on. They haven't done it. And the reason why is because the media has become too involved. They are no longer independent news organizations. They have become joined with the Democratic Party. They have become joined with the Democratic Party, so they are no longer independent. They have violated their code of ethics on journalism. And yet, you guys out there, let them do it. You don't call them on it. You don't say, hey, stop that, you're lying. You let them go ahead and do it. And then you have members of the media saying what they're going to do to people who follow and supported Trump. People in the media are saying that. You see, politics in the media should never be mixed. They should never be joined together at the hips trying to promote a candidate. But that's what has happened in this nation, is that our media is no longer independent in their reporting or thinking or digging or just being a journalist. They are no longer independent. They are politically tied to a political party. And that's where corruption starts. Because the media is able to push their own political agenda, and that's where corruption begins. Because the media is very good at mixing things and twisting things and only reporting just little bits of things to make things appear what they want it to appear as. We have been corrupted by a politician called Nancy Pelosi, and we have been corrupted by a media. And Americans, and across the world, you have the same situation going on. So you have to hold these people in these entities accountable for what they do. If you don't start speaking up against them and challenging what they're saying, then they will continue to have that power over our nation. Why? And I repeated this yesterday. Why the Democrats keep electing Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, who does so much damage to the American people and to the United States and to the integrity of ethics, why do you keep putting her in charge? She should be thrown out. She should not be Speaker of the House any longer. Democrats, stand up and have some backbone. Have some balls, okay? And stand up against this unethical individual. If you don't, then what will happen is that we will see that you are unethical. And maybe that is the true story here, is that Democrats have passed the part of being ethical and have become unethical in politics. It's a sad situation to watch and to see. I look at it every single day and I see all the comments being made. Sometimes I just shut it off because I'm just so fed up. I shut off cable news networks a long time ago. And I'm just about ready to shut down Twitter and Facebook because I've had it. Every time that you post something or make a statement on politics, Twitter or Facebook say that this is under dispute. How do they know, just because it has politics in my statement, how do they know? How are they able? Listen, do you know what I think? This is what I think. Facebook, Twitter, they make a lot of money off of advertisers. And so every time that I post something, they have a fact checker. Like a publisher. A publisher always fact checks everything that you do. If you write a book or if you are writing a story, they have a fact check department that looks at your documents and at your content. So, listen, if they are going to fact check me or if they are going to edit me, then I should get a royalty. I should get a payment from them. Because they're making money off of me. And they're fact-checking my story, my content. So I think that I should get a payment. They're acting as a publisher. They have no right to do that. They've overstepped their bounds. So I think all of us should start asking, hey, where's my royalty? You made money off of me. You fact-checked my article and advertisers were running right next to me. I want my money. In fact, Twitter, Facebook, I demand my money. Send it to me now. Every time you fact check me, I want money on that because you're making money off of my statement and you're fact checking me, you're acting as my publisher, so I want some money. You see what I'm trying to say is that the social media and the mainstream media, the main stations out there that we listen to every day or that you listen to every day have become nonsense. They're no longer relevant because they're one-sided, they're biased. When an individual becomes one-sided and biased and will not look at the other side or listen to the other side, then you're no longer a journalist because a journalist listens to everything. They take that information and they dig into it to see if it's true. And then they publish a story based upon facts, based upon evidence. Now, what happens is that people in the media think that they're bloggers and they can say anything. And no one cares. So, we as Americans have got to do better. We have got to challenge what's going on in America. An election is not an election. No president can be pronounced to be president or president-elect until we have taken care of the fraudulent acts that have transpired in this election. Trump can't say he's president. Biden can't say he's president until the election is verified, certified, and all the legal remedies have been exhausted, then at that point we can declare a winner. But until we clean up this fraud mess that we have in the United States, listen, you Democrats, I'm speaking directly to you. You Democrats were saying, oh, the Russians are going to get involved in our elections. They're going to get involved. They are going to destroy our elections. They're going to... That's not even the case. That was a lie. The biggest threat that we have are Democrats. Democrats who are corrupt in the way that they deal politically. They are corrupt in the way that they deal with the issues of the United States. Until we clean up this unethical items that are happening out there in our election system, the fraud, the misuse of our election system, until we clean that up, there can be no president of the United States. Even the Speaker of the House cannot even step in as the President of the United States because she has acted fraudulently. She pushed this whole narrative of mail-in ballots. She is the one to blame. She stood before the American people in the press saying that there's nothing wrong with the mail-in ballot and that President Trump was trying to stop it. Well, thank God he was trying to stop it. Somebody was trying to stop it. Somebody was trying to stop a fraud of happening, but she didn't want that because she wanted chaos in this election, and she got it. She got it. So until we clean up this fraud that we are seeing in the election system, there can be no president. Until we have counted and recounted those votes and looked at the legal remedies of solving some of these things that are right now before the Supreme Court and before several of the federal judges across this nation, before there can be a president announced or a president recognized, we have to verify these votes and make the legal count and the unlegal disqualified. We cannot go on with the presidency until we have conquered the fraudulent issues that are out there and answered the questions for the American people that this is what happened. And all of you out there in mainstream media, shame on you for not digging into this. Shame on you for not looking, okay, the president is showing you a stack of papers, which is evidence, and you say, no, it's not evidence. It's not evidence. Just because that individual signed under penalty of perjury, no, that's not evidence. Listen, in a court of law, in the legal system, that is evidence, 100% pure qualified evidence. So, there can be no president until we clean this mess up. And I'm calling upon every single American, if you feel that there is fraud, report it. If you feel that there is fraud and you know it from all of the documentation that has been pushed out there and the videos that have been pushed out there, there is fraud going on, then don't push for your candidate to be president right now. Have some guts and some responsibility and say, Biden, Trump, I cannot tell that you are my president at this moment because there's too much fraud going on. When the Commissioner of Elections comes out and says the votes are being counted but fraud is still going on, there is a problem. We cannot even say who's going to be president until we clean up this mess. And then we can go on to the next step. But until this fraud issue is cleaned up, this voter fraud issue is cleaned up, we can't announce who's going to be president. We can't. You and I, we have got to be ethical about this. I don't care what party you are with. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care. Stop pushing your political views. Stop pushing your political agenda. Stop it right now. Stop. because we have a bigger issue than your political agenda. The bigger issue is that there's fraud in our voting system, and we have got to clean it up before we say who is our president. I would love to have to say right now, because I'll be very honest with you, I love President Trump. But I can't even tell him, Mr. President, you're president, because there is fraud in our election. I can't tell him that I love him and I care for him and everything until we focus on this fraud and clean it up. This has been going on for a long time, and finally we have somebody standing up, and I'm glad the president's standing up. I do not feel that he should concede, nor do I feel that Biden should say that he's the president-elect until this fraud is cleaned up. That is the ethical thing to do. So we have two issues going on. We had a dirty politician named Nancy Pelosi who pushed this vote by mail fraud to the American people. I blame it squarely on her shoulders. And then we have a media who will not dig down and who will not be independent from a political party that they want to be associated with. They cannot be independent any longer, and they are no longer a legitimate journalistic force. They are no longer journalists. They are not even media. They are just entertainment sources pushing a political agenda. They are political activists on the air. And we have got to stop this. Either we hold these people accountable, or we continue to let fraud exist. What is our choice? What are we going to do, America? What are you going to do? I hope that you've got the chutzpah that you're going to say, I want this election cleaned up. If there is fraud, prosecute the fraud. And then let's move on. Let's make sure that we've got the right votes counted. And whatever the numbers are, that will be who the president is. But until we clean up this fraud, we cannot even say who is president. And for you people in the media who jumped out there and said the president-elect is Biden, shame on you. Because now you forced the fraud to become even more fraudulent. That's it. That's it for that conversation today. I think I've had it. I think I've had it. Listen, I'm looking outside, and it is a cloudy day and a windy day here in Palm Beach. I really thought by moving to Palm Beach I would have a lot more sunny days and be spending a lot more time at the beach. I haven't spent one day at the beach. One, because of lockdown. They locked down the beaches, and right now, the tides are so high and the water is so high and violent, I don't even want to be out there. But I think it's going to be a sunny day. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that a lot of these clouds go away. Cloudy days, fraudulent voting. Can you believe it? They all roll in together. But listen, I tell you this again. Fraud and unity will never mix as long as fraud outweighs legitimacy. This is Mike Lodge. Listen, if you have a comment, if you have a question, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. Join me on my website at www.lodge-co.com. Find out what I do for a living, what I do every day as soon as I do my podcast. Also, look at my books, Ethically Thinking. It's not that difficult. And also Daily Strategy, which is a mediation book on how we mediate our life throughout the day. 2 good books on my website, www.lodge-co.com. They're really good stocking stuffers for Christmas, and they're good, easy reads. They're not that long. because I always try to keep things simple and to the point. So they're not that long. So they're really good. And it's on Amazon.com also. If you want to go to Michael Lodge on Amazon.com and see the books that I have there. I've got 3 books out there now, and I'm writing a 4th one's called Muddied Waters. But what do you think that's going to be about? Listen, everybody go out and have a great day. Join me on my website. Join me every day. Promote my podcast. Get out there and promote share my podcast wherever you may be listening to it. Share it with somebody. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Parler. Share it. I'll talk with you soon. This is Mike Lodge. Have a great day and God bless. This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content. God bless all of you. Bye-bye.